Welcome back to Lions News Fan Report, where we bring you the latest and most exciting sports news every single day. Today, we've got insider intel out of Allen Park that could redefine the defensive identity of our Detroit Lions. Kelvin Sheppard, the newly minted defensive coordinator, has thrown down the gauntlet, laying out non-negotiable standards for his unit from day one. And in doing so, he's already boosted the profile of his position coaches, particularly former teammate and rising star Blaine Hamilton. Sheppard's message was crystal clear when he met with reporters on Thursday. "We start with the A's," he said, referring not to alphabetical skill levels but to alignment, attention to detail, and absolute execution. No more guessing the play, no more sloppy gaps, and absolutely no tolerance for half-hearted effort. That level of precision sounds simple on paper, but ask any veteran linebacker or defensive back, and they'll tell you that turning alignment, awareness, execution into habit only comes through relentless coaching and a culture that refuses to accept anything less than perfection. What's striking is the way every player in the room snapped to attention. You could feel it through the TV. Jalen Reeves-Maybin straightening his back, Alex Anzalone nodding in agreement, and Aiden Hutchinson stepping forward as if to signal, "I'm ready." These are men who have dealt with defensive schemes that shifted every few weeks under past regimes. Now, they're buying into a single foundational principle: do your job at the right spot every single time, and the excitement in the locker room is palpable. But here's where things get really interesting. Sheppard didn't just outline his own expectations. He took time to highlight the work of Blaine Hamilton, the team's new linebackers coach and his former standout at the University of Georgia. According to Sheppard, Hamilton's influence has been transformative, both for veteran leaders and for young players entering the NFL. "He's one of the brightest minds I've ever come across," Sheppard explained. He breaks down complex fronts into simple, repeatable drills. He's more than a position coach. He's a teacher of the game. Imagine a defense where every linebacker not only knows his gap but can literally visualize the quarterback's progression, anticipate screens, and trigger timely blitzes. That's exactly what Hamilton is installing, starting in these early OTA sessions. Sources tell us that during a red zone walkthrough this week, Hamilton paused the group to demonstrate a footwork adjustment that allowed the edge rusher to corner the running back 2 yards sooner than before. That kind of incremental gain might seem small, but over the course of a season, it can be the difference between surrendering a 1-yard touchdown or forcing a field goal attempt. Sheppard went further, predicting a rapid rise for Hamilton himself. "He's going to be a head coach one day," Sheppard smiled. "He has every quality you look for: intelligence, tenacity, passion for the game. If the Lions ever need to fill a bigger role, you'll see his name at the top of the list." Those words have spread through the building like wildfire. Already, players are referring to Hamilton simply as Ham, a sign of the deep respect he's earned in such a short time. Of course, speculation is mounting. Is Sheppard grooming Hamilton as his successor, or is Hamilton being positioned for a larger role under a future head coach? Some insiders believe that if the Lions' defense outperforms expectations, the secondary locking down top receivers, the front seven generating a torrent of sacks, Hamilton could be in line for an interview as early as next offseason. Could he become the youngest defensive coordinator in franchise history? Could he even be a candidate for head coaching positions down the road? The questions are already swirling among fans and pundits alike. Meanwhile, the broader impact on the Lions' offseason program cannot be overstated. When a new coordinator sets such rigid standards and then publicly praises one of his assistants, it creates a ripple effect. Veteran players feel accountable. Rookies understand exactly what it takes to earn playing time. Every practice rep becomes a referendum on Sheppard's vision. And if Hamilton continues to refine the technique of every linebacker, the gap integrity, the pass rush timing, we could be looking at a top 10 defense in 2025, a unit capable of carrying this team deep into January. As a lifelong Lions supporter, I admit to feeling a surge of optimism hearing Shepard's vision and Hamilton's rising star. We've seen culture swings before, only to be disappointed when the lofty talk fizzled out. But this time, there's a cohesion I haven't felt in years. The coaches are unified, the players are locked in, and the standard is set at A-level performance from the very first snap. Could this be the turning point that brings championship defense back to Detroit? Then picture MPJ-sounding defenses in early October against the Packers and Vikings. These are offenses that live on timing, misdirection, and a litany of empty. The backfields. Under Shepard's watch, the Lions will play assignment football. Free safeties policing the deep third, linebackers disciplined in gap technique, and corners under orders to funnel every receiver into the teeth of the blitz. Hamilton's fingerprints show up in every disguised stunt and every delayed rush. If the Lions can force just 2 more 3-and-outs per game than last year, their field position charts flip from middle of the pack to top 5. That's a difference worth 8 wins, and don't overlook the psychological edge. When a unit is known for its relentless detail. When offensive coordinators fear the tape study. Notice how Detroit's playbook never leaves them in conflict. That mental pressure causes hesitation. A split-second boggling on a red zone carry can turn into a game-turning turnover. Fans might only see a happenstance fumble, but will know the real credit belongs to Hamilton's coaching, breaking down the angles so precisely that every defender knows exactly where to strike. Now, some skeptics will say, it's just another off-season hype train. But I've watched Hamilton in small group sessions, how he addresses each linebacker by name, correcting the angle of approach, fine-tuning their footwork so they mirror offensive linemen post-snap. These are micro-adjustments that take years of experience to convey, and yet he delivers them with the clarity of a seasoned professor. That's why Coach Shepard's public endorsement, "He's the real deal," carries so much weight. When your boss trumpets your expertise in front of the entire league, opposing coaches take note. Of course, challenges lie ahead. The NFC North is a grind, dynamic quarterbacks, punishing weather, and 60-minute battles. Maintaining focus on alignment, especially late in the fourth quarter, will test every man in silver and Honolulu blue. Will they cling to Hamilton's pre-snap checks like a life raft when fatigue sets in? Or will old habits rear their heads? Those key moments, third downs in frigid Lambeau wind, goal line stands at Ford Field, will tell the story of whether Shepard's culture has truly taken root. As we look down the schedule, imagine the Lions hosting a primetime thriller in December against the Seahawks. The Legion of Boom era made Seattle's defense legendary. Now, could Detroit's new look group forge its own legacy, forcing punts, creating splash plays, and flipping the scoreboard with defensive touchdowns? And months later, in January, when the postseason gods hand us an underdog road game, will our unit, drilled in Hamilton's details and galvanized by Shepard's standards, rise up and deliver a signature playoff performance? That's the dream, and it's absolutely within reach. At the end of the day, the gap between promise and premiere hinges on execution. The blueprint is laid. Shepard's A's: alignment, attention, execution, supercharged by Hamilton's teaching mastery. Now comes the proving ground. Every practice rep, every walkthrough, every game day rep is a referendum on this new era. And as fans, our support matters. Your belief in this staff, your energy in the stands, your buzz on social media, all of it feeds into the cultural momentum that transforms good teams into great ones. So here's my final thought. If the Lions' defense ignites like I believe it will, if we see tackles for loss, timely QB pressure, and lockdown coverage, then we'll look back at this moment as the turning point. And every critic who doubted our capacity for change will be silenced by the roar of Ford Field and the highlights of our highlight reel stops. Thank you for watching this deep dive on Lions News Fan Report. Drop your thoughts below. What aspect of Shepard and Hamilton's vision excites you most? I can't wait to read your takes. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and come back for more exclusive previews all season long. Together, we're rewriting Detroit's defensive legacy. One play, one detail, and one fan at a time. Go Lions!